et Béninois, chers compatriotes, en ce jour, dimanche 7 décembre 2025, nous,
a lot is going on in Africa right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel, Nyaya Vision. Today, let's talk about the situation that is happening in Benin right now. Right, on 7 December 2025, a group of soldiers calling themselves the Military Committee for Refoundation appeared on the state television in the capital, Cotonou, claiming to have removed the government and dissolved the state institutions, including ousting Patrice Talon as president. The soldiers justified their move, citing poor governance, alleged neglect of soldiers, and rising security concerns. Right, but things didn't go the way they wanted them to be, because the government of Benin said on Sunday that 14 people have been arrested in connection with the attempting military coup. A small group of soldiers launched a mutiny with the goal of destabilizing the state and its institutions, said Interior Minister Alassane Seido in a statement. In the response, the situation aimed forces of Benin and their leadership, true to their oath, retained control of the situation, foiled the maneuver. So I just want to compare the Benin situation and the Geza situation. Right. Ordinary citizens did not join the uprising. The Manchas represented in a small military faction, not a national movement. People waited to see which side was in control. Classic behavior during sudden coups. Right, and let's go to Blessed Geza's side. And his call for mass action failed to mobilize the citizens. Reasons: fear of government repression, low trust in opposition movements, past protests resulting in arrest, beatings, or death, economic desperation making people avoid political risk. In both cases, the public stayed passive, but for different reasons. Leadership credibility. Benin, the coup leaders were unknown to the public, lacked political legitimacy, they offered no clear alternative vision, failed to gain the broad military or civilian backing. In Zimbabwe, Blessed Geza had online influence but limited real-world political structures, not formally part of established opposition like Triple C or MDC structures. Many Zimbabweans doubted his capability, his safety guarantees, whether the protest was genuine or a trap, whether change was realistically possible. Both attempts lacked credible leadership recognized by the mass. State power and control. In Benin, government acted within hours. Loyalist forces took control of TV station, military bases, key roads. ECOWAS and international across immediately supported the government. In Zimbabwe, the Mnangagwa government has strong intelligence networks, heavy police presence, history of pre-empty separative protests, surveillance and arrests before gathering even started. Blessed Geza's mobilization lacked the organizational capacity to counter the state. Both states had strong control, but Zimbabwe's repression is deeply institutionalized. Let's go to the political environment. In Benin, previously considered stable, but transition around constitutional changes, accusations of democratic backsliding, security issues in the north. The coup attempt was more of a military internal issue than popular uprising. In Zimbabwe, long-term authorization environment, fragment opposition, citizens fatigued by decades of repression and economic decline, protest culture weakened by fear and lack of trust. Blessed Geza was trying to speak people lead uprising, but environment was not conducive. So, why both attempts failed? These are the common factors. Lack of broad public support, no unified leadership, strong state response, no clear, credible alternative vision, fear and uncertainty among the population. But the character of failure differs. Benin failed coup because of military fragmentation. Zimbabwe failed civil protest because of public fear and lack of mobilization. Benin failed coup, a failed allied power struggle. Blessed Geza's failed protest, a failed attempt to mobilize the masses. Benin issue was internal military weakness, while Zimbabwe was public reluctance driven by fear, repression, and distrust. Both cases demonstrate the political change only succeeds when military forces, institutions, and the population align behind a clear alternative. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kulient, and every day I will bring you news and updates like this. So if it's your first time here to watch us here, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that I'll come and give you more and more and more updates and more interesting news like this.